Sir, I'm in a class. I will call you later. Hello. Good morning, all of you. Any questions? Please note that the questions that are being sent by email, I am sharing with everybody. But please note that I feel that you are not going through the slides that I shared with you, and you need to look at that assign example 7 problem, okay? And that is clearly illustrating how to solve doubly reinforced section. It's an iterative procedure. And I will tell you one simple check. If you are able to solve with limit state method, forget about all the mathematics, okay? Forget about all the mathematics and all the relations. What is the difference between the limit state method and working stress method? Only the stress distribution diagram is different, okay? So why you are unable to solve using limit state method, or why the same problem cannot be, its limiting moment of resistance cannot be estimated with this limit state method, that you need to question yourself, okay? I think there is some fundamental mistake that you are making. You need to be more serious. You need to be more serious. And then also you need to refer some textbooks, understand? Please note that within the limited time we have, in any university or any other IIT, people will not, or any instructor will not be able to cover the entire thing, understand? You need to put some effort from your side. The idea of giving these assignments is to ensure that you learn something out of this, okay? So you take these assignments seriously and then attempt them. And also one more question related to doubly reinforced T section, okay? And please note that you are all coming from clearing JEE exam, and which is very toughest one. And I gave you an idea how to solve a flanged section. I also gave you the details how to solve a doubly reinforced section. So I don't understand why. What is the problem in you? You need to extend your imagination, and also you see you combine both of these concepts and try to solve it. Okay. Anyway, you please attempt it, and if there is a genuine question, then we can look at it. But I feel that you are not putting enough effort or something like that. That is my feeling. Okay, maybe I am wrong, but you please give a serious try to the questions. Okay. And the other question, one request came for extending the I announced the quiz on 18th October. I announced a quiz, okay? And again I got an email saying that some other student has some other quiz on the same day. I don't understand how it happened. You could have informed the other instructor. Please note that this class's strength is 95 students. So I cannot accommodate everybody's request and then do it try to fix a timing. Anyway, if there is a genuine reason why you are unable to submit, that will be accepted, okay? But not you cannot simply take more than one day to complete the quiz, okay? Anyway, these are the points I want to mention. If there are any questions or comments, please let me know. Otherwise, let's proceed to the lecture. Okay? Any questions?
Sir, we already talked to the other professor, sir. Like
Kranti, you have some question? Kiran?
Yes, sir. Regarding this exam, sir.
Kranti, you have some question or comment?
Hello, sir.
Anyway, let me start presenting. We are looking at flanged sections, okay? We are looking at flanged sections, and in flanged sections, you need to keep a watch on the ratio of depth of the flanged section, capital DF, the ratio of that to the effective depth. If that ratio is less than 0.2, then here it's clearly given here. The idea of checking that is, It's similar to doubly reinforced section where we checked D prime divided by D. So if the flanged section, before this, you need to check whether the neutral axis is first step is you assume neutral axis to fall within the flange, and you calculate the neutral axis depth using this relation. And then once you get the neutral axis depth, you compare with the depth of the flange. If the depth of the flange is or the neutral axis, whatever you got from this relation, is less than the depth of the flange, then your assumption is correct. Then it's not actually whatever the flange section you have, that is really is not going to act like a flange section. It's going to act like a rectangular section. So here how to proceed is given here. If the depth of the neutral axis is less than the depth of the flange, the moment of resistance may be calculated using this procedure, which is a procedure for a rectangular section. So really this is not a case for flanged section. And now you calculate neutral axis depth using this relation and check whether XU is greater than capital DF. If that is the case, then you need to do two more checks. One check is whether the depth of the flange is less than the ratio of depth of the flange to the effective depth is not exceeding 0.2. What is the idea of doing this check? What is the idea of doing this check? The idea of doing this check is to ensure that the stress distribution is uniform in the flange region. The stress distribution is uniform in the flange region. And how it helps us, how it's going to help us, actually we can, for a given flanged section, we can divide it in this manner. Let's assume this is the neutral axis depth. Even though here in this figure it is written as XU max, the same figure can be used for understanding even for an under reinforced or over reinforced section. So assuming this to be the neutral axis depth, you divide the flanged section into two parts. Okay, these two shoulders you cut them off for a while and treat this as a rectangular section. You know how to estimate the resultant compressive force if the section is rectangular, and also stress distribution is a combination of parabola and the rectangular portion. The stress this is the stress distribution. This is acting over this rectangular area. So the contribution to the compressive force, resultant compressive force, the contribution of this portion, the portion I am referring is this one, is going to be BW multiplied by XU, that is the area on which it is acting, and this resultant value is 0.362 FCK multiplied by this BF. So the total compressive force acting over this portion is going to be 0.362 FCK XU multiplied by BW. BW is the width of the section, rectangular portion here. Any questions? And here it is written for a balanced section. If it is under reinforced or over reinforced, whatever XU max is there, replace with XU. Now the leftover portions are these two shoulders. First of all, what is the area of these two shoulders? Area of these two shoulders is BF minus BW multiplied by the depth of the flange, DF. So that is the area of these two shoulders. And now we checked this condition. I want to explain you what is the advantage of this condition. If capital DF divided by D effective depth is not exceeding 0.2, then I can safely assume the stress in this flange portion is going to be uniform at 0.447 FCK. So that is the advantage. That is the idea of doing this check. Okay. And if you do, if this check is passed, that means capital DF divided by D is not exceeding 0.2, then the contribution of these two shoulders is going to be BF minus BW multiplied by DF multiplied by 0.447 FCK. So that is C2. That is C2. Okay. That is this one. Here it is rounded up to the second significant digit. And also I told you while explaining flanged sections in the last few classes, I told you two important quantities. One is capital DF divided by effective depth, that ratio you need to keep a watch. And also DF divided by XU. For a balanced section, please take a note of these two. Please make a note of this. Capital DF divided by D and capital DF divided by XU max or XU. Capital DF divided by D shall not exceed 0.2. That is one condition. Another condition is capital DF divided by XU shall not exceed 0.43. Please note that for a balanced section, both these mean the same. Both these mean the same. Okay? You can cross check. You can cross check rearranging capital DF divided by D by dividing and multiplying with XU max. You can write it in the form capital divided by XU max. Please try that. Okay. So for a balanced section is going to be same. For under reinforced or over reinforced, this may not be exactly going to be same. So that is the reason you also need to check this, whether capital DF divided by XU is less than 0.43. If both these conditions are satisfied, both these conditions are satisfied, C2 is given by BF minus BW multiplied by DF multiplied by 0.447 FCK. So this is the contribution from the two shoulders, and the limiting moment of resistance you multiply with the corresponding lever arm distances. Okay. And even in the please note that we are looking at, so far we looked at only analysis. Even in the design will be for convenience sake, we will be splitting, or in the design to calculate total area of steel, we will be taking this portion separately and this portion separately and try to find area of steel required to balance this, area of steel required to balance this portion. So that we will see in today's class. And now when capital DF divided by D is not exceeding 0.2, but still if this condition is failed, then you need to replace wherever capital DF is there, you replace with YF. Even in the last class I explained to you what is this YF. It is coming from equivalence uniform stress distribution or a rectangular stress distribution proposed by Whitney. And please note that all these, this is a proposal by a researcher by name Whitney. And if you have a better idea of doing it, you can actually come up with that better idea and then come up with a different shape. Okay. Anyway, this Whitney's whatever method he proposed, that is well accepted, and that's why it is actually documented in the code. Okay. So YF is given by 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF. So wherever capital DF is there, that you replace with this YF. If it is exceeding, if this quantity is exceeding, capital DF divided by XU is exceeding 0.43. Is this clear? Any questions here? Nobody is like no, everybody is keeping silent. No questions. Everything is clear. Either it is clear because you are not attempted these problems. You please attempt the problems. Okay. Whatever you solve using working stress method for flanged sections, you attempted using limit state method. Okay, no questions. I'm proceeding further. So when this condition is violated, first of all, even you can read this one. Neutral axis falls outside the flange. So that that is the first check we have to do, whether XU is greater than DF or not. And once XU is greater than DF, then only it's going to behave like a flanged section. Then you need to do this checking. So now it is not exceeding 0.2 here. This ratio is not exceeding 0.2. That is the case we discussed. What about the case when it is exceeding 0.2? If it is exceeding 0.2, there is not much to discuss. There is not much to discuss. Whatever you noted here, when DF divided by XU is exceeding 0.43, whatever procedure is there, that procedure is nothing but wherever capital DF is there, replace with YF. Okay? So same thing you need to apply here. So that is what is mentioned here. You can read it. When the neutral axis falls outside the flange and the ratio capital DF divided by D exceeds 0.2, we cannot ensure flange is uniformly stressed. Okay? Hence the expression for case 2 is whatever previous one, is modified by substituting YF for capital DF. YF is given by this. So that relation, the limiting moment of resistance, wherever capital DF is there, in the previous equation it is replaced with YF. The same equation is given in annexure G of IS 456. Any questions here? And I told you to go through these examples here. Some examples are given. Let me quickly go through them, because when I ask you to do it, you are not doing it unless I go through the procedure in the class. And please note that similar to rectangular sections, SP16, anyway, the detailed procedure or whatever we just now discussed, everything is here. If somebody is interested, they can go through this. Okay? And please note that you need to refer different other textbooks. Then you get a better understanding of a subject. Please also keep in mind whatever book that is written by a particular author, you need to look at that is his understanding of the subject. That is his understanding of the subject. So when you want to get a better understanding, you need to see or look at two different other textbooks so that you can understand both their views about the same subject or same topic. Then based on that you can form your own, or you can have your own idea about the how to approach and solve the problems. Okay? Anyway, this is all essential when you go for advanced courses. And now let's let me complete here what I want to. In SP16, tables 57 to 59, 3 tables, 57, 58, 59, they are actually giving some this one procedure or limiting moment, the moment resisting factor, moment of resistance factor, mu divided by mu limit divided by FCK BD square. B is nothing but width of the web here. For different values of, this is a flanged section, so for different ratios of BF divided by BW and DF divided by D. Okay, for 3 grades of steel. What are the 3 grades of steel? Fe250, Fe415, Fe500. So These tables are only for balanced section. So how to make use of these tables when you actually start doing your own thing. Suppose you are given the section details. You are given the section details, and you are asked to find the amount of steel required. And you can go through the procedure, whatever formula we have looked at, and then you can make use of that, and also cross-check whether the amount of steel that you got is within, or roughly it is same, or roughly it is correct or not. You can check using these tables. So let me go to the tables, and I'll quickly explain you how to read those tables. And then when you are solving the examples, depending on the type of steel and depending on the type of concrete or grade of steel, grade of concrete, you can make use of this. Okay. So here, MU limit divide, or it's not very crisp here, but anyway, this is you shared with you. You can open this book and look at it. This is for Fe250 steel. MU limit divided by FCK BWD square. That value is nothing but limiting moment of resisting factor, or moment resisting factor for balanced section. So that is function of, here it is given as a function of capital DF divided by D and small bf divided by BW for 3 grades of steel. Okay, Fe415, Fe500. So now with this, let's understand how to solve this problem. Pay attention to this slide. Okay, now you don't need to note down anything, just pay attention to this slide. So here you need to determine, this is an analysis problem, you need to determine its flexural strength or limiting moment of resistance, or here another term is used, ultimate flexural strength of a T section, T beam, having the section dimensions are given, and also area of steel is given, grade of concrete is given, grade of steel is given. So everything is given, section information, complete information is given. So recall or keep, please open your Annexure G of IS456 if you have with you. And the first step is we need to check, we need to calculate or assume, we need to assume let the neutral axis falls in the flange region. If that is the case, what is the neutral axis depth? Treat it as a rectangular section, calculate the neutral axis depth, and then you check whether your initial assumption is correct or not. Whether the value of neutral axis depth that you got is less than the depth of the flange or not. You please check that. And if that check is passed, that means your initial assumption that neutral axis lies within the flange is correct. And if this is the case, there is not much to discuss. You can proceed similar to a rectangular section. Here, the neutral axis falls inside the flange, section can be considered as rectangular section. And then you know how to calculate the area of steel for a rectangular section. And also you can make use of SP16 and cross-check whether the results that you obtained or the area of steel that you got is almost matching with whatever is given in SP16. Any questions here? And the students who have not attempted the assignments, some of the students, I'm telling you frankly, some of the students have not submitted even a single assignment. And please note that when I make that statement, those who are submitting don't back out, and from now onwards, it's not like that you don't need to submit. Assignments are going to carry weightage of 20%. That's what I mentioned in the grading pattern. So please take assignment seriously. Otherwise, you will not be learning anything as a part of this course. Okay. So similar to what we discussed earlier, whatever area of steel that you get by calculations, you can cross-check whether the area of steel is correct or not by looking at SP16. Okay, so that is given here. and you can go through this example. And there is not much in this example because it's not going to behave like a flanged section. So now let's look at the other example. Calculate the ultimate moment of resistance of a T-beam having, again, section details are given, area of steel is given, grade of concrete is given, grade of steel is given, and you need to estimate its limiting moment of resistance. Okay, you need to estimate its limiting moment of resistance. So first step, given any section, flanged section, first step is assume it's like your trial, assuming neutral axis to fall within the flange. You find the neutral axis depth, compare with the depth of the flange, and if it is exceeding, if the neutral axis here, you can see here, neutral axis depth is exceeding the flange depth. So initial assumption is wrong. Initial assumption is wrong. Now it is very clear neutral axis is going to fall outside the flange. If neutral axis is falling outside the flange, you need to make another check whether capital DF divided by D is exceeding 0.2 or not. That check you make. And once that check is also passed, that means what is the meaning of this check? What actually this check is guaranteeing us? When you pass this check, that means you can assume the flange is going to be uniformly stressed, provided one more check is passed. What is the other check? DF divided by XU shall not exceed 0.43. If both these checks are passed, then you can safely assume the flange is going to be uniformly stressed. The value of that is going to be 0.447 FCK. Okay. So now this is passed. This check is passed. So you calculate now. Now you need to make an assumption, because what we are trying to calculate, neutral axis depth. So I cannot do the other check. Because to do the other check, I need to know neutral axis depth. But I don't know neutral axis depth. Why? That's the reason why I'm doing all this. So assuming capital DF divided by XU is less than 0.3, whatever the equations that are given for C1, C2, whatever we noted earlier, make use of those. Find C1, C2, find the resultant compressive force and equate it to the tensile force, and then calculate. Please note that this C1 is function of XU and C2 is numerical value. So finally C1 plus C2 is going to be this one. And that should be equal to the tensile force. Tensile force is given by 0.87 Fy times area of steel. And then calculate neutral axis depth. Once you get the actual value of neutral axis depth, you just check whether the assumption that you started out, that is 0.43, this ratio is less than 0.43, is satisfying or not. If it is satisfying, that means your assumption is correct. Then you can proceed further. Making use of this XU, you can find the limiting moment of resistance. Any questions here? Suppose at this point this check is failed. At this point this check is failed. Then what you need to do? You need to go back, and then wherever capital DF is there, replace with YF. What is YF? 0.15 XU plus 0.65 capital DF. And then you proceed and calculate XU. And also one more check you need to do. Once you get XU here, you need to calculate again YF. YF is equal to, substituting the actual value of neutral axis depth, YF is equal to 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF. and then ensure that it is less than DF. Okay, that check also you need to make, and also you need to once again check whether this is passing or not. Then wherever capital DF is there, replace with YF and calculate moment of resistance. Any questions here? Please note that for this prop, this is actually not, and also one more check is also made. One more check is made here, whether the neutral axis depth that you got is less than the limiting neutral axis depth for a balanced section, XU max divided by D, which is given in annex page 70 of IS 456. Page 70 of IS 456, whatever XU max divided by D, so that is given for different grades of steels. Please note that don't be a false impression that is only valid for rectangular sections. That is valid for all types of sections. XU max divided by D. When I made that statement, you don't need to accept it as whatever I say. You can go back and see on what basis that relation is obtained. XU max divided by D is based on strain distribution. So that's going to be valid for irrespective of whatever section you have. So you also check whether XU is less than XU max. Then once XU is less than XU max, that means it's under reinforced section. So yesterday somebody is saying, sending email, flanged sections or something, doubly reinforced sections are not going to be under reinforced this and that. You can check. Even doubly reinforced section is going to be balanced section. 3 types of sections will be there. 3 types of categorization. For doubly reinforced section, it will be valid. For flanged sections, it's valid. For any type of section, it's valid. So only way how that categorization is done is total compressive force, how it is comparing with total tensile force. I gave in my reply to the email all that information, go through it. So here XU max for the given grade of steel, that is also calculated, and ensuring that XU is less than XU max, then the moment of resistance is calculated. Suppose XU is greater than XU max. Suppose XU turns out to be greater than XU max. What is going to be your limiting moment of resistance? Please note that this is an analysis problem. If it is a design problem, over reinforced section is not allowed. An analysis problem, we need to estimate its load carrying capacity. The section is already existing. So for this case, if XU is exceeding XU max, then you limit your limiting moment of resistance to that for a balanced section. Okay. Anyway, any questions here? And please note that this we cannot make use of charts 57, tables 57, 58, 59 of SP16 here, because this is not a balanced section. This is not a balanced section. That is what is mentioned here. But we can check, cross-check whether the area of steel that whatever for a balanced section, how it is matching with whatever the area of steel that we obtain. Okay, any questions? So if there are no questions, let me go to this example. You can go through yourself. Okay, you can go through yourself. Yeah, here in this example, the other case is illustrated. It's going to be a flanged section, and assuming capital DF divided by XU is less than 0.43, C1, C2 are calculated, and XU is also calculated. XU is also calculated, and then ratio is checked. Then the ratio is checked, and once it is here in this case, it's not going to satisfy. This ratio DF divided by XU is not going to be less than 0.43. It's going to be greater than 0.43. Then you need to redo these calculations. Especially this C2. Wherever capital DF is there, replace with YF. So that is all illustrated here. You go through it. And once you get the correct value of XU, you once again ensure that whatever assumption that you started out is correct or not. Once that check is passed, you compare it with limiting neutral axis depth and ensure it is under reinforced. Then you can calculate your limiting moment of resistance. Any questions? So this is about analysis. So this example 4 and subsequent examples you can go through yourself. They're all self-explanatory. If you understood whatever I mentioned or whatever I taught so far, then you should be able to understand it very easily. Except that for sixth example, here there is some mistake here. There is some mistake given in the workout. Here, capital DF divided by D is exceeding 0.2. If it is exceeding 0.2, then you need to replace wherever capital DF is there with YF. That is not done here. There is some mistake in this workout. I want you to look at it and then do it properly. Okay. So I will leave it to you. You please do it. Any questions here? Okay. And if there are no questions, we will complete this design of flanged sections. When I say design, we are going to limit ourselves to finding the area of steel. Please note that flanged section comprises of a flanged portion and a web portion. And the flange portion is part of the slab. So the dimensions of the flange portions are going to be dictated by the slab dimensions. And the dimensions of the web portion alone are going to be what we can have some freedom. Okay. And so we are going to here focus only on the computation of tension reinforcement. Any questions here? So given all the section dimensions and given the grade of concrete, given the grade of steel, find the tension reinforcement. To do that, you need to again do the same checking. Since the section dimensions are given to you, and you try to find what is the area of steel. So let's go through this. So the corresponding equations. Let's go and see NXZG. If the neutral axis is less than the depth of the flange, then these are the set of equations we need to make use of. And this is the moment of resistance for a under reinforced section. Or since the grade of steel is given, you can find what is the limiting neutral axis depth, and then you can actually calculate or decide whether it's under reinforced or over reinforced. Let's go through this. Okay. In this case, T section. In this case of T section, the area of tension reinforcement can be computed by treating it as a rectangular section, because XU is less than capital DF. And what are the equations? Limiting moment of resistance or moment of resistance is given by this equation. And this equation, how do you got this? How you got this equation? Moment of resistance for a rectangular singly reinforced section. Here, XU is less than DF, so it's going to behave like a rectangular section. And we are discussing about a section where only tension reinforcement is there. So it's going to be behaving like a rectangular section, reinforced only on the tension side. Limiting moment of resistance or moment of resistance is given by 0.87 Fy area of steel multiplied by the lever arm. What is going to be the lever arm? Lever arm is D minus 0.416 XU. XU is given by this relation. So you replace in this 0.416 XU, you substitute this XU value, and then you are going to get a relation in terms of area of steel. And this we already discussed. All this we already discussed. So it's going to be similar to a rectangular section. So you need to follow the procedure similar to rectangular section. So first thing is you need to check this one. XU is less than capital DF or not. Okay. And then if XU is greater than capital DF, you know the relations. I told you the moment of resistance, it comprises of two parts. We are going to separate those two parts and then try to find area of steel for the two parts separately. If XU is greater than DF and if both these conditions are satisfied, we can ensure, or we can assume that the flange is going to be uniformly stressed at 0.447 FCK. So C1 is given by 0.362 FCK BWXU, and that to balance this compressive force, you need to have tensile force. How do you get that tensile force generated? Tensile force that is generated through providing the area of steel. So make use of that concept and try to find area of steel for balancing this compressive force. And that area of steel is denoted here with as ASTW. ASTW is because this contribution is coming from the web portion. This contribution is coming from the web portion. So this compressive force divided by 0.87 Fy is going to give you area of steel. And what about the other component of the compressive force? Once these are satisfied, once these two conditions are satisfied, flange is going to be stressed uniformly 0.447 FCK BF minus BW multiplied by capital DF. And to balance this compressive force, you need to add some steel, and that steel is denoted as ASTF because this is contribution from the flange. So divide with 0.87 Fy, calculate the area of steel, add these two area of steel, that's going to be the total area of steel. Suppose these conditions are violated. Suppose these conditions are violated, wherever capital DF is there, replace with YF and calculate the area of steel. So that is what is shown here. That is what is shown here. Any questions? No questions? So let's see some examples, then you will understand better. So determine the area of tensile reinforcement required for a flanged beam having the following sectional dimensions. Factored moment is also given. What is the moment it needs to resist, that is given. Your job is to find only the tension reinforcement. Other dimensions are given to you. Grade of concrete is given, grade of steel is given. So you please cross check. You please, because dimensions are given, you can check whether capital DF divided by D is less than 0.2 or not. Here it is exactly 0.2. Here it is exactly 0.2. Then we can assume this flange to be uniformly stressed at 0.447 FCK or 0.45 FCK. Based on that, you can proceed. Based on that, you can proceed. The limiting, whatever moment it has to resist, that is given to you. And this is the equation for limiting moment of resistance when DF divided by D is not exceeding 0.2. Here it is not exceeding 0.2, it's exactly equal to 0.2. So you can make use of the same equation. And in this equation, everything is known. Everything is known. Okay. So you can calculate what is the limiting moment of resistance for this section. And then you check whether the limiting, the moment that is coming, the moment that is actually applied, the design moment, a factored moment for this beam is less than that or not. Less than the limiting moment for this section. If it is less than, then it is going to be if it is less than limiting moment, it's going to be under reinforced section. So this is another way of checking whether the section is under reinforced or not. All these concepts, maybe you have overlooked it, overlooked those that particular concept which I in the first few classes when I discussed about balance section, under reinforced, over reinforced, at that time I mentioned about this. Okay, so limiting moment of resistance is greater than the applied moment, so the section is going to be under reinforced. And if this condition is satisfied, it's going to be under reinforced. That means XU is going to be less than XU max. And assuming XU is less than capital DF, assuming XU is less than capital DF, you give a try. You give a try. If it is, if this is passed, then it's going to behave like a rectangular section. So you just that is tried, and it turns out that XU is less than DF. So it's going to, this flange section is going to behave like a rectangular section. You can easily make use of those equation relations corresponding to rectangular section and find the area of steel. So here it's basically, it's not behaving like a flanged section. And also, since this is behaving like a rectangular section, you can make use of the SP16 design charts or tables corresponding to a rectangular section and find the area of steel. And the area of steel that you got just now, using these calculations, you can compare with whatever SP16 is giving, and you can check whether your values are closely matching with SP16 values or not. Another example, let's go through another example. Here it's a T-beam, effective depth is given, the flange depth is given, width of the rib is given. Rib is nothing but web. Effective depth is given. This is effective depth of flange, this is to overall effective depth. Grade of concrete is given, grade of steel is given. Limiting moment capacity of the section and corresponding tension reinforcement. Please note that limiting moment of resistance is not going to depend on the area of steel. Limiting moment of resistance is going to depend only on the section dimensions here. Limiting moment of resistance is going to depend. Please note that this is MU here is limiting moment of resistance. This is for a balanced section. So limiting moment of resistance is going to depend only on the section dimensions, grade of concrete, grade of grade of steel is not required, grade of concrete, and the section dimensions as well as XU max divided by D, which is dependent, which here grade of steel is required. To calculate XU max divided by D, grade of steel is required. So once you know grade of steel, grade of concrete, even if you don't know area of steel, once you know the section dimensions, you can calculate the limiting moment of resistance. Okay, so calculate the limiting moment of resistance for this section and the corresponding area of tension reinforcement. You can go through the details, and you need to check whether these conditions are satisfied or not, because then only we can make correct equation for limiting moment of resistance. You go through this, okay? And what is the area of tension reinforcement, everything. And please note that here you are asked to find the limiting moment carrying capacitor, limiting moment of resistance. So this is corresponding to a balanced section. So you can make use of tables 57, 58, 59, depending on the type of steel. Here the steel is steel grade corresponds to Fe 415. So table 58 is picked. Okay, so one more example is given here. You can go through this. It's all self-explanatory. Here, the design, you need to design tension reinforcement to resist some given moment. So instead of limiting moment of resistance, you need to find the area of steel to resist this. And this section is going to be not like a rectangular section. It's going to be like a flanged section. You can go through the workout, and it's going to behave like a flanged section. And also the stress in the flange portion is not going to be uniform. So wherever capital DF is there, replaced with YF, that kind of thing is carried out. You can go through this, okay? Any questions? So with this, what I suggest is you attempt the assignment problems, assignment 2 and 3, and submit by Friday. And Sunday is going to be your quiz, 18th. And tomorrow's class, we are going to discuss about, so far, please let me summarize. So far, we looked at only how to design for flexion, starting with singly reinforced rectangular section, doubly reinforced rectangular section, and we discussed about analysis as well as design, and then we looked at flanged sections. So now we need to also design for shear. So that the introduction to that is going to be given in tomorrow's class. Any questions? If you are keeping quiet, I don't know, I'm assuming you are following. Any questions?
Hello.
Please don't leave. I have to take attendance. Any questions? Or if you have any questions, please send an email, okay? Yeah, thank you.